All right, I think we are live. Hey, everybody, what's up? Okay, so we are doing a case study. I've got Katie here. We're going to be introducing her in just a second. I'm going to let Facebook do its thing and start notifying people, but I want to say hello. Katie is a powerhouse who's done some amazing things just in the last few weeks. She's been working with me for a little while. And the last few weeks have kind of just opened the floodgates for her. And so we're going to talk about her story. And it's one of the reasons why I love to do case studies like this, because I can tell you all day long about what I do, but I want you to see someone who looks like you, sounds like you, may be going through the similar situation as you, who is changing their life and changing their business, and hear the inside story of about what it really takes, right? Katie, we were just talking about this. You could just say, hey, here's a case study. It's amazing. I watched a couple of modules and, Shazam, it all happened. And we don't want to do that. We want to talk about what it really takes to create the kind of results like Katie has created and like so many of my clients have created. And so as you guys are coming on, please say hello to us. Let us know that you're there, even if you're watching on the replay. Say, hey, Shameca, what's up? Let us know that you're there. And what I'm going to do really quickly, just for those of you who may not know me, is I want to do just a quick introduction, okay? The other thing that I want to do is I want to encourage you to share this video, to talk back to us, like, comment, let us know that you're there. Let us know if something is resonating with you. Ask questions, because a lot of this isn't scripted, right? We're having a conversation. So we're having a conversation, and that conversation includes you. So if you have questions that come up, if you have things that you want to say, aha moments that have resonated for you, please, 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 please share those in the comment section. I see Tessa here. Hey, Tessa. Hey, Chandra. What's up? Okay, so guys, as you come in, just go ahead and come on in. What I'm going to do right now is just do a quick introduction, because I want you guys to know who I am if you don't know me. So for those of you who do not know me, I am Shameca Tankerson, and I help brilliant, badass businesswomen charge more, sell more, and do it with zero apologies. But the most powerful part of the work that I do is this understanding that I've come to, that it's not just about selling, right? You can sell pretty much with anybody's scripts and templates, and most sales strategists, most sales trainers will give you that information, and they'll tell you how to overcome objections. What I found out from the women that I work with, who are amazing at what I do, like I said, they're brilliant, they are badass, they know their stuff like the back of their hand, is that there is an underlying undercurrent of conversation that they're having with themselves about past results, about client success, about how their business ebbs and flows. And that conversations, those setbacks, those disappointments, they bring into every client interaction, right? And what I figured out is that it's not just about the selling strategies. Those situations can siphon your confidence, your self-esteem, and so much more. So it's about how you show up in the sales conversation. So we're going to talk a little bit about that today. Your beliefs about sales, your belief about money, your beliefs about whether or not people can pay, all of that is part of the conversation. And if you don't get a handle on those conversations that you're having inside of yourself, no amount of strategy will help you sell. None. You got to get that stuff right first. So welcome, guys. Again, if you're joining us, say, hey, what's up? I'm going to bring Katie back. So I have my client, Katie, here. I'm super excited to have her. She is a total badass. And you know what? I'm just going to get my little mini man off of your face for a minute. Okay, let's move him. Let's move her. Mini Shameca, which don't tempt me. I might make some of those dolls for you guys. But so I want to have Katie introduce herself to you so that you know who she is. I can talk about how amazing she is. She is a brilliant vocal coach. But Katie, if you can just share with everybody, tell the people who you are. Tell them who you are, what you do in the world, what is your brilliance.
Yes, I am Katie Powell. I am of Sing Without Limits vocal coaching, and I am the founder of the vocal method, the Powell method, which just celebrated a 10-year anniversary 2 months ago. So I was pretty excited about that. And I work with singers who are looking for a way to win a competition or book a Broadway gig and have tried everything they can and can't get there on their own. I deal with a lot of singer insecurities and frustrations, people that have big goals that can't figure out how to reach them on their own.
Awesome. Awesome, awesome, awesome. So thank you for sharing all of that. And you're doing incredible work in the world, making sure that those people get seen and heard in an amazing, incredible way. And so I want to talk about the successes that you had in the journey. And again, guys, this is not just about, it's not just about the fact that she had an amazing month. So what Katie did this past month, I'm going to hide this real quick because it's bothering me, is she created, or she was able to sell what she made last year in just a couple of weeks. And so I want to talk about this journey of getting there. Because again, people talk about results all the time. And then what happens is they don't tell you what it really takes to create that kind of momentum in your life and in your business. And so, Katie, I want you to share this story, but I want to back way, way up. And I want to share this part of our journey together because I want you all to know that consistency and commitment is super, super important. So Katie and I actually met on the flip side of the online marketing world almost, I want to say 7 years ago. Does that sound about right?
Yep, it does. Maybe 8 or 9, somewhere in there. Yeah.
It probably sounds better. At 8 or 9 sounds about right. So you guys have all heard my story about how my business, I was trying to pull my business back up again. And, you know, the whole ended up in the welfare office story. Well, at that point of decision where I was like, you have to do something. One of the things that I realized is that I had a skill set that I could use that would allow me to do the simple things for myself, like get my hair and nails done and all of those things. And that was teaching voice lessons. And Katie had an online course that helped show people how to do voice lessons in a way that helped them to make money. And so I was on her mailing list. And so the way this comes full circle is we're in a Facebook group where I'm casually just hanging out and commenting on a few things. And she recognizes my name and she goes, hey, I think I know her, and starts to follow me. And the rest is history. So that just speaks to consistency, guys, right? And longevity for both of us, right? You had a list then, and you've been at this for quite some time.
Oh, yes.
Yeah. So I want to talk about this, the moment that you decided to jump in, because I think I did. The first thing you came in with was like a Black Friday offer, which was kind of like a toe dip. And then you decided.
Yes, but I was in before that. Probably just me trying to get into your world. And I got in your 100K Slay program.
Got it. Okay.
That you walk through as part of your Facebook group. And I basically, anytime that I got a notification that you were live, I was paying attention. And I just kind of followed absolutely everything you said and did. And then, yes, I think the flash sale was my first, okay, let's try this.
Right. And so here's why I wanted to talk about that, because there's been a couple of purchases that you made. You went from that to sales school, and just recently you joined Play Big for this round that we're doing right now. And you've been at this for quite some time. And we were having this conversation before we jumped on that in business, how many of you guys know that in business, it's ebbs and flow? It's not always high, high, high. No matter who you are in business, there's dips, there's peaks and valleys, right? And then there's moments and times of great profitability and consistency. And then there's times you have to tweak things and figure it out. And when you're in that process of tweaking things and trying to figure out what's next to get you to the next level, sometimes you try things and they don't work, right? You try again, and then you fail at that, and you try again and it doesn't work. And for most people, average people, right, the average person gives up at some point. And so I want to talk about, at what point did you just go, you know what, I need to bite the bullet? And even though I've tried so many things and I just recently tried something, I'm willing to do this again.
Yeah. Okay. That's a very big question. I started with, I think to me, the big thing that I opted into was sales school. And that was something that I kind of figured out right away this is for me. And that is because some of the things that I had opted into prior to getting into your world, that was the area that I went into it feeling confident, but then kept crashing and burning.
Mm-hmm.
I went into it feeling like I know how to do this, and I would crash and burn every single time. And I thought, okay, well, I obviously, this is where I need help, is sales. I need to figure out what I'm doing wrong. But it ended up being so much more than that, that it wasn't just sales that I wasn't, it's not that I was bad at things. It wasn't just that I hadn't quite figured out sales. It was something way deeper than that.
Mm-hmm.
I had a lot of hangups in my own world that were coming up every time I was trying to have a conversation with someone. And when my funk would come out, people would be like, "Ooh, I don't want to buy from you." And they could have wanted absolutely everything that I have, but me showing, and I didn't even realize I was doing this, but me trying to be too perfect, being afraid of, like, I kept saying, I am worth this much money. I know I can charge this much money, but then I like couldn't even say it. It took me forever just to have the conversation and just to be able to say the amount. And those kinds of things were really getting in my way. And also, I think that I spent a lot of years kind of what I call throwing spaghetti, where I just was, well, let's try this. Let's see if this works. Maybe I should do this. Maybe I should do this. And I would kind of vomit everything that I could do out there and see if anyone would just take it. And so these were all kinds of things that were going on in me prior to getting into your world. And the very first sales school that I attended was January, and it was about messaging. And that was where I already knew I had the biggest weakness. And so there were things, there were lots of how-tos that I got from working with you. But I think the biggest thing that I have taken away that I think helped me the most was the speed of implementation, just doing it.
Mm-hmm.
Don't pay attention to the vanity metrics, like you call them, but just do it. Just do it, and just trust the process, that it's going to result in something. And even if you feel stupid, or if it feels, uncomfortable, just keep doing it. And I just kept doing it.
Awesome. There's a couple of things that you touched on that I think it's important for anyone that's watching this to kind of lean into and check themselves with. So Katie said she was having conversations with people. She's been in business a long time. She's had sales. It's not that she hasn't been making sales. And people will tell me all the time, I know how to have sales. I just need to find a new audience. I know how to do sales. I just need to figure out my messaging or this piece or that. There's always something like, I know sales because I have clients. And they're like, I don't have a sales problem. And I'm like, you actually do have a sales problem, because wherever you go, there you are. And that's kind of what you just explained, is you were bringing your own hangups about your past success or not. With your mouth, you knew you were worth X amount of dollars, right? But there was probably also this conversation that no other vocal coach out there charges like this. They all charge by the hour, and it's like $45 a session or $100 and something a session. And you're like, I want to do this package and it looks like this. And so you had to deal with that within yourself, right?
Yes.
That worthiness issue, even though you knew your work was worth it because you create results and all of those things, you weren't comfortable even saying the dollar amount, right? And I think a lot of us, as we grow into who we are as a business owner, there are elements of conversation that we think we are hiding behind or hiding from our prospects and everyone else. But I am here to tell you that they can sense it and they can see it. They may not be able to name it, but what you think you're hiding with your smiling face, or your representative that you bring, your professionalism and the face that you put on, even though there's stuff you need to fix inside of yourself, your clients sense it. And that's really the work that we're doing inside of a lot of my programs, is cleaning up that stuff so that you show up in your purest, most powerful self. Am I right, Katie?
Absolutely. In fact, I was just going to chime in that my husband overheard me one time. I was doing a live, and it was a live where I had to make an offer at the end, and where I got to make an offer at the end, and I was going through that process, and when I got done, he was like, "Hey, I just heard that whole thing, and you were really." I was really engaged in everything you were saying until you got to the sales part. And then when it came to the like talking about your business, the offer that you had to make, you all of a sudden got really perfect and stiff, and you didn't sound like yourself at all. I just wanted
Hmm.
to throw that out there. And I was like, wow. Even something as simple as, my husband, who was just doing his own thing, all of a sudden heard this major shift in my voice. Someone who knows me really well. So someone who doesn't know me that well is definitely hearing that, I'm sure, just as easily, that there was a major change in the way that I sounded, the way that I talked when it came to that part.
Awesome. Thank you for sharing that. So, speaking of husbands, a lot of women have to enroll their husbands in their journey. I work with a lot of women whose husbands aren't business owners, right? So they have to enroll them into this journey of what they're trying to do, especially when it comes to investing in yourself, and especially when it comes to investing in yourself at the level that some of my programs require. And I remember us having this story about Chris, your husband, when you wanted to do sales school, you wanted to do play big. So you are in sales school, you wanted to up level into play big. So I want to talk about this because I think this is a conversation that a lot of people who have significant others have to have, but they don't quite know how to have it. And I think what you reflected back to me in your story is super powerful for them to understand. So first, let me go back to this. I first invited you to up level into play big back in February.
Yes.
And you said no, and it broke my heart.
I'm sorry.
Because I was like, okay,
It broke mine too.
I was like, she's so ready, and I can, see what I can do if I can just get more time with her. We can break something open and create some stuff. And you said no. And then I came back, I don't know, maybe March. Yeah, because we started in April a couple of weeks ago. So I came back in March. Dagger to my heart, you're like, no, again. And like the first time, you didn't even ask if there's anything we could do. Is there a payment plan? So I was like, okay, well, if she's not in it, then I'm just going to let her go. But in March, I was like, I can't let her go. This is her round. These are her people. This is her time. She needs to be there. And you were like, no. And I was like, are you kidding me? Right. And so then time passes by, and we're the week of starting Play Big, which was a couple of weeks ago. Something happens, and I'll let you tell the story about what happened for you, but something happens, and all of a sudden you were like, I'm in, it's a yes. And the rest is history, because the last 3 weeks were 3 weeks in the Play Big. The last 3 weeks, you have made your entire last week's income inside of that program and more. Yeah. And so I want to go back to talking about enrolling your husband into you saying yes to this thing and what he told you, because I think this is important.
Yes. There are a couple of pieces to that. So the first the first time I said no, it was a lot of things going on in my mind. One was I didn't even ask my husband about it then the first time, because with the way I said it, I did mention it, but I didn't ask. I just said, so she wants me to do this play big thing, and I'm scared. I'm already freaking out in sales school. I just don't know. I don't think that's something I'm ready to do. And he was like, okay, and just moved on with his day. And so then the next time she asked, by then I knew I wanted to do it. And our financial situation had gotten much scarier. My husband is a freelance sound engineer for theater. And so his job is, a couple months on, and then who knows how long off, and then maybe we'll get another contract. So it's just very, and we travel all the time. And so, it's just very unsure. And so I was afraid to ask him, hey, can I do this? Because we didn't know when the next income was going to be coming in. And I was afraid to ask him because I had invested so much over the years, and look where it got me. So I had a lot of fear about asking him. And we went on lots of walks and talked about it. I talked his ear off about it. And we talked about, I reached out and said, what is the payment plan situation? And then we talked some more, and he finally said to me, he said, I just want you to know that I support you in what you're doing. And it's hard for me to say yes to something when you don't seem like you believe in yourself enough to say yes. So if you want this, let's make this happen. But if you don't think you can do it, then I don't want to support that. I don't want to put my money towards that.
Yeah.
And that was huge for me. But then the other part of that is that we had the money class in sales school, and I had done that work on our finances, and I realized that, so the money part ended up being not the issue we thought it was. Our business and our finances, our personal finances, got revamped from that. But all of those things together. But what he said about, hey, you sound too afraid, like this isn't for you, and I'm not going to invest if that's where you are.
So I think that's important, like on two fronts. One, for those of you who are looking to make investments in yourself and your business, and you know that you have to enroll your spouse or your significant other into that with you, and you go to them like, I'm so afraid, or you go to them with an apprehension, they're just going to validate however you present it. I've found this to be true over and over and over again. Luckily, you had somebody to reflect back to you and tell you, like, look, if you don't believe in yourself, I ain't in it. But most people will not tell you that that's what they're sensing. They just tell you, okay, no, we shouldn't do it because you look really, really scared. And if you're scared, I'm scared too. So that's one front. The second part of that is when you're having your own sales conversations, when people say they need to talk to their spouse, this is something I teach my clients to do, is you've got to get them confident to go and enroll that person into this vision, because however they present it is however it's going to be reflected back to them. And it's super, super important. And I'm so grateful to Chris because now we are here where we are. I believe, and we're going to talk about what it took for you to make your income, right? Your annual income. And listen, guys, I saw somebody's post the other day and they're like, well, if somebody tells you someone has 100% increase or, a 400% increase in their revenue, it matters more if they were making $100,000 or $30,000 a month and they 100% increase their income than if they were making $5,000 a month and they 100% increase their income. And my answer to that is no, it doesn't.
No, it doesn't.
Because it's the same energy, right? For that person, it is still the same stretch in capacity, no matter what the number is. So some person's $30,000, $100,000 a month doubled feels the same as the person who's doing $5,000 a month double to that person. Right? And so I want to talk about the real deal about what it took for you to create that kind of momentum in your business. And I believe the first step in this, and you can talk about that journey for yourself, but the first step in this is the point of decision, right? Your yes will open up so much for you, so much opportunity. I just did a really big yes in speaking in Florida when I spoke. That was a big decision for me. I had to fly somewhere else. I had to bring team with me. There was a lot of investment in doing that. And I could have cowered away and said no, right? What has transpired as a result of that, I could not have manufactured on my own or without that point of decision. I believe that point of decision was, Shameca, either grow or contract or expand. And I believe for you, this was the same thing. We were 3 days or so before Play Big was supposed to start, and you had already said no twice. And this was a point of decision. And the moment you said yes, I believe that point of decision created an expansion that allowed you in 3 weeks' time to create the same amount of revenue it took you an entire year to create last year.
Yeah.
So let's talk about this. Let's talk about what was going on inside of Katie, because this is the stuff people don't talk about.
Yeah. So there was something that you said to me in the middle of time number 2 of asking. You said, I don't think there's any reason why you shouldn't be able to make $5,000 every single month. And that was, I just kind of swallowed that, like, wow, I've never done that. I've never made $5,000 in an entire month. And she's saying there's no reason I shouldn't be able to do it every month. And there was that kind of stuck with me for a while of, well, what is it that's keeping me from that? Why am I, if that's like a baseline, you should be able to do this, no problem. Why have I never done that? And why am I still not doing that? What is in the way? And then this is terrible that I don't remember the specifics of this, but then I woke up one morning and you had a post about Play Big, and it was this big, long, like, all these, I felt like you were describing me to the world, and maybe you were. This big, long post about, people want to take the next step in their business, and they don't, and they're afraid, and they make excuses why they can't do it. And I just want you to know I have one spot left in Play Big. And I was like, she's talking to me. And then somebody else posted, and the very next thing that I saw was someone else saying, I just signed up, and I can't wait to do this. Those two things I saw back to back, and I was like, there's one spot left. And that was so personally just to me. It was speaking to absolutely everything that I've been dealing with, and I need to do this. I need to make a way. And so I woke up my husband and we figured it out. And I reached out to Shameca and I was like, okay, I woke up to this and this. I need to do this. So what do I need to do?
Yeah. And I should have been like, oh my gosh, yes. But literally I cried. And I'm like getting emotional right now thinking about it, because I was holding space for you and you had already said no twice. And I was like, wow, we're going to push this off one more time. And there's only so much I know that I can do inside of sales school, right? And Play Big, I know I can do much more to help you position yourself, and so much. So the moment I got that message for you, it just hit me like a ton of bricks because of the possibility. I knew what was possible for you, but the next few weeks, you blew my mind. The next couple of days, I was like, what just happened?
Yeah, because in the next 5 or 6 days after that, I had a $10,000 week, and I had never had a $5,000 month. And that blew my mind.
That's what like making a decision does. So I talk about this often. The definition of decision means to shut the door or close the door on everything else. And oftentimes we're making decisions that we want better businesses, better clients. We want people who, pay us higher rates, but we don't close the door on all else. We have one foot in one thing and we're teeter-tottering between.
Yes.
And I believe that moment that you finally said, yes, I believe in myself, and you put your money where your mouth was, I believe the universe conspired at that point to meet you at that point of decision. Yes. And that's how it works for everyone.
Because it wasn't just a decision that I made to move forward with you. It was a decision I made with myself. Yes. For myself, that I was open to receive this. I am open to, because I knew that Play Big helps people make a whole bunch of money in a short amount of time, and to own what they do. And that was me stepping in and saying, okay, I'm ready. I'm ready to do this. I am ready to receive this. And I am ready to own what I do with confidence, and not do this, halfway thing that I've been doing for almost 20 years. So.
Well, and your life has changed, right? Because once you create something like that, she'd had a $10,000 week and she hadn't even had a $5,000 month yet. She just skipped the line, right? So right after she said,
really close to doing it again.
Yeah. So like, once you create it, you know how it feels. It's like riding a bike, right? Once you get the hang of riding a bike, you're like, oh, you just get on the bike. And even if you haven't rode for years, you get on the bike, you wobble a little bit, you're like, oh, I know how to do this, right? Once you create it, you can create it whenever you want to. You now have the foundations of creating $10,000, period, right? Doesn't matter that you did it in a week. You've done it in a week. That means you can do it in a week again and again and again and again. It also means that you can do it in a day. Right? It just means
too.
The foundation of knowing what it feels like to create it, and all you have to do now is accelerate it, right? Scale it. That's what's so beautiful about what you did, and I think that was a mountain of serendipity just waiting on you to say, Katie, I believe in. Say you believe in yourself, and the moment you said you believe in yourself, you acted as though you did.
Yeah,
and that was it. So like within the next 2 weeks, you were at 15K. Like it's just, and you're like, I'm really close to doing it again. It's gonna be another $10,000 week. Like when we look back at this, you're going from I've never had a $5,000 month to I've done $10,000 weeks, just from a point of decision. Right. And I have a firm and powerful belief that the you that you needed to be to create that would not have existed had you not said yes. Right. And it's not just saying yes to my program, it's saying yes to yourself. It's truly deciding and closing the door on everything else. Right. You can't say with your mouth that you believe you can do something and your actions don't align with that belief.
Right.
So I'm going to ask you a question. What do you want to say? Like, what would you say? Actually, I have 2 questions I want to ask you. Because the work that we do, even in sales school, Play Big, it's why I don't have any like one-off little membership type programs or courses that you can buy, because there's real work that has to be done in the undercurrent. Yes. The work that we do is not easy, right? It's simple, but it's not easy. You're going to be met with yourself, your thoughts, your beliefs, your daily actions and habits. Who you be makes a difference. And my job is to reflect back to you when that's powerful and when it's not. Right. And sometimes that doesn't feel good. Sometimes it's a wake up call. Sometimes it shakes you. And so the first question I want to ask you is, when you look at somebody who would be a good fit to jump into this kind of work, who would they be and who would they not be? Like, if you're this person or if you're not this person, don't try it. But if you're at this point, then try it. What would you say?
I would say, I'm going to do the not first. This is not the kind of thing, if you are looking for someone who's going to validate your excuses, or if you are looking, whether you know it or not, if you're someone who like, there's always a negative kind of like, I can't do it. It's not, but for me, it's this, or for me, it's that. And that's, I've learned from you, that is a story that is not real. This is, you have to be someone who is able to look at yourself and see what you're doing wrong and accept it when it's shown to you what you're doing wrong and where you need to step up. And if you're not able to do that, then I would say, no, this is not for you. And if it is for you, it's, I think that's really it. I think that's really the dividing factor. But the other thing I would say about if it's for you is that it doesn't matter if you started your business yesterday or if you started your business 20 years ago, like me. It is something that you can do no matter what level of business you are. What matters is that you know you need to change something. And I know for me, a lot of it, whatever I thought it wasn't just that. That is where she says it's simple, but it's not easy. The sales process is simple. Well, the part that's not easy is the owning it. It's the getting out of your own way. And I think you have to be willing to, I don't know, acknowledge that there are things that are going to change. There's something else that you said like when I first entered your world, that has stuck with me. And that is, you can't, I'm going to screw it up now. Everything you've done has gotten you to where you are, and you can't move past it unless you're willing to do something different.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
You have
I
to
love
be.
that. I love that. How does it feel being on the other side of this thing? Like, what's the greatest gifts that you've been given?
Well, honestly, before I answer that, I have to say that I am still waking up every morning surprised that I am on the other side. It's still like, this scared me, like it just feels like, wow, how am I that person? So I'm still a little bit in that, but it feels empowering. It feels and it feels validating. Now I'm going to get emotional. I have been at this for such a long time, and yes, I have a lot of stubbornness in me, but I am so passionate about this. And it was crushing me year after year after year after year that I was someone's biggest secret. And I didn't want to be the secret anymore. I wanted people to know who I was and know what I did. And I could not figure out how to make that happen. And so to be in this place now where I'm able to communicate what it is that I do and how I help people in a way that they identify themselves like, oh, that's what I need, instead of me feeling like, please, am I good enough? Do you want to pick me? Which is how I felt all before. So I think it's an empowering and validating feeling. I always knew that I had something that people needed. I just couldn't figure out how to tell them.
Boy, do I know what that's like.
I'm sure.
I'm like, I've tried to keep the tears off, but I can't. I'm so super proud of you. And, yeah, you joined some of my programs, but you did the work. And I know the work is right. And I know the work is not easy because I had to do it myself. So as I listen to you talk, I think about the ever occurring yeses and decisions that I've had to make along the way to be able to be here for you, for your decision and your yes. So I honor you, right, for taking a stand for yourself and for that belief in knowing that there's somebody that's waiting for you. And this is only the beginning. You like we're just getting started. Me see if I can grab some tissue. Yes, welcome to the Shameca Show where we're badass and we still cry. Tessa's like, I'm not crying with y'all today. Yes, you are. So that's the cool thing about my community, though. And here's something that I learned a long time ago. My wall of trying to pretend like I didn't have moments of weakness and vulnerability kept me far away from my clients. And so, yeah, we celebrate the heck out of all of our sales with no apologies, zero apologies. I don't care how much it is, we're going to celebrate. But also, we're not immune to like just letting the emotions flow. And Tessa always says thugs don't cry. so like that's the case. So I want to kind of wrap this up. Really, I just wanted to share Katie's story because I think it's an incredible story of longevity, right? You've been in business. I mean, you've had your current business for like over a decade, but you've been doing this for like 20 years, more than 20 years, right? And I know
my official business started 10 years ago, but I started doing this 19 years ago.
Yeah. So just a couple of things, guys, too. Like if you have questions or things you want to share or say or something you want to ask Katie about, what she had to do to create last year's income in the last few weeks. Like this just happened, guys. This is real fresh within this month. The month of April is when this happened. And I wanted to grab her while it was still fresh. Ask away, even on the replay. Ask away. We'll both circle back around and answer questions. Just make sure you tag Katie because she won't get notified if you don't. But I just want to encourage you to trust yourself. Everyone, like trust your ability to make decisions. Yeah, you may have made decisions that didn't quite work out, but it's all part of your learning. It's all part of your growing. And every time you can fall down and get back up again, and fall down and get back up again, and fall down and get back up again with the same tenacity, you are moving and inching closer and closer to what you want. And at some point, you're going to hit that very same point of decision that Katie hit, the one that has the potential to let the floodgates open. And what you do in that moment is what matters most. And it's probably going to be the scariest decision because it's going to be unfamiliar. It's going to seem like you lack control, right? But then you just have to go, okay, I'm trusting myself, right? I know that I can do this. I believe that I can get an ROI, all of those things. And when you trust and honor yourself with those decisions, the world will meet you where you are. The opportunities will show up. When you shut the door on it and you walk away because of fear, what happens is you shut the door on the opportunity. You don't see them. The blinders are on because you're so focused on the lack, the problem, the scarcity, the fear. That's what you're focused on. Oh my gosh, I'm trying to get out of this thing instead of possibility, which is what that point of decision creates. So Katie, last thing, just any last words of encouragement, because I don't see any questions or anything here, and we can come back around if some come. Just last words that you want to say for somebody who wants to absolutely blow their own freaking mind with what's possible. Like, this is mind blowing. And this year I've had some amazing client case studies. You just happen to be the next one, right? Your annual income in a few short weeks, in 2 weeks.
It's more. It's definitely more than my annual income was.
Okay. So with that in mind, somebody who just like, I know I can do big things, whether it's the $1 million business they want to have, they want to net $1 million, they want to start doing just $5,000 months or $10,000 months, or they'd like to create their annual income, heck, even in 90 days or 6 months, or, blow it out of the water. They just want to blow their own mind with what's possible. What would you say to them? What are some words from my old hat at it?
I would say, number one, that you are what's keeping yourself from it. And when you are ready to say yes, that is what changes everything. And number two, it's okay to ask for help. It is okay to ask for help. You cannot do it by yourself. I know, I tried. And then the third thing that I would say is, when you invest in a program, it doesn't matter how hard it is or how scary it is, you do the work and you lean in when it gets hard and when it gets scary, or you're not going to get anything out of it. Don't be like, well, I invested in that, so it's not working. Well, you're not working. These are all sound really negative. I want them to be positive, but really it's true that you are the person who is in your way. And the only way to not be in your own way is to say, oh, look, I'm in my way, to reach out for help and to do the work. So that's what I wanted to say.
Awesome. Thank you for sharing that. So guys, I'm going to leave you with one thing. I'm going to put this at the bottom of the screen. We talked about sales school a little bit. We just started a round of Play Big. And Play Big is for those who are literally ready to blow their own freaking mind with what's possible. It's accelerated. The next round doesn't start until July. So I'll be talking about that coming up soon. But right now you can enroll in sales school. And so here's the invitation that I want to make with this. If you know that selling is a sticking point for you, or any of this conversation resonated, this is your opportunity to ask for the help and get support. And here's what I did with sales school that isn't like anything else out there. And actually should probably change that. You can get to sales school by going to WeSlaySales.com. I need to change that. WeSlaySales.com is how you can get to sales school. You can use that link too if you want to, but I'll put We Slay Sales at the top or in the comments section too. If somebody wants to do that for me, that would be amazing. But this is your opportunity to get the support you need, because if what you're doing right now that has gotten you where you are is not working, you can keep doing the same thing and expecting to get a different result, or you can get the support that you need and the help from
Yes.
somebody who knows what they're doing. And here's the deal. It's not just that I know what I'm doing because I learned this in a course somewhere and I just started my business. Not only have I started a business that was successful, lost everything and built it back up again. So I know all the mind chatter that goes with the breakdowns, and I can see it a mile away and I catch it before it comes. I can see it in your microaggressions on your face because I know it. I'm intimate with it because it's work I did with myself. But I've done this over the past, it's been 6 years now that I've been teaching this the way that I do based on my breakdown with woman after woman in their business, creating result after result after result. And so what I did with Sales School is I created something that doesn't just throw you in a pool of scripts and coursework and tell you to figure it out on your own and, you can't customize it. I provide support. So there's a live training every single month in Sales School. It's not just for you to consume, it's based on you creating revenue in your business. Every month I teach you something that you need to know to create money, not to look pretty on a website, not to do all the little things people do that aren't based on income producing activities. And then I issue a challenge. Yeah, the challenge is scary because most income producing activities, the real ones, are scary. And I challenge you to do something consistently for an entire month that will make you money. And then I also open up an additional day of Q&A where you can ask questions, where you can get things tailored to your business. At this level of investment, which Sales School is $14.97 for the year, there is nothing else out there like it. Nothing else out there like it. People who enroll in Sales School make their investment back pretty much immediately after even doing the Fast Start course that I send to you, because it focuses on shifting the way you think about sales and show up in sales, not to mention the supporting your business along the way. I have been asked and coached and prodded by my mentors and coaches to raise the price on this thing for a long time. And I'm just going to leave it where it is for now. I know the value that's in there. It's my life's body of work, plus support, plus a community of amazing, incredible, badass women who are on the give, trying to make impact just like you, but also about making money. So if you're ready to stop trying to figure it out on your own, that's the invitation that I want to make for you. Start there. Start there. Just go to WeSlaySales.com, check it out. And when you're ready, Sales School will be there. All right. Katie's like, all of that. Anything you want to say about Sales School before we leave?
I love it. I love it so much. It is, I think that you just said very in a teeny little bit. One of the things that's the most important about it to me is that, yes, her whole body of work is there, but it's not there to consume. It is there as needed, kind of like a library. But the best part is the live thing that happens every month, and the challenge, the work that you have to do. It changes you. And I've only been doing it since January, and it has changed. It changed me in the first month. It's huge. And it is scary, but it's the kind of work that's scary.
It's the kind of work that's scary. Yeah, we're asking people for money. It's scary. It's sales, right?
Yeah.
I love that. Thank you for sharing that. All right, guys, we're not going to hold you any longer. I wanted to give you that opportunity to let you know that Sales School exists, that there's something out there that can shift the way you think about sales, the way you approach sales, and it can shift the trajectory of your business in helping you make more money quickly, right? I know people say there's no, overnight success, but the crazy thing about it is in my camp, we're flipping the script on that. We are flipping the script on that because you're not an overnight success. You've been at this for a long time. It's time that your bank account matches it. That's it. All right, loves. Katie, thank you so much for opening up and sharing your story and sharing the behind the scenes of how you created your annual income in just a couple of weeks. And then you keep saying it's more than her annual income. in a couple of weeks. I think opening up and talking about the behind the scenes is so important. So I'm very, very, very grateful to you for doing this. I appreciate you so much. And for all of you guys who joined us, I appreciate you being here as well. For those of you who are joining us in sales school, I can't wait to meet you. We actually have a session tomorrow that's all about never having money objections ever again. So if you're thinking about sales school and you're on the fence, this is a point of decision. So you can come live to that session and live to this month's challenge. All right, guys. We'll see you soon. Bye.
Bye.